Right, this is the third in my prison shot caller series of videos. What if a shot caller puts a green light on your friend? What that means is, what if the gang leader orders a hit, shanking to death or beating up, forced to roll off the yard, puts a green light on your friend, and somehow you find out, you've got a heads up from somebody, you just noticed certain things happening on the yard that indicate this might be happening. Do you then give your friend a heads up and put yourself at risk of a shot caller putting a green light on you? This exact situation happened to two Tonys, the mafia guy who protected me in prison. Two Tonys were serving 141 years. He left the dead bodies of rival gangsters from Arizona to Alaska. He was classified as a multiple homicide murderer. Because he'd only murdered rival gangsters, he had a lot of respect. He dictated his life story to me in prison years ago, and it just got published. And in the book, The Mafia Philosopher, is the story of what happened when a shot caller put a green light on one of his friends. Now, bear in mind, this is Arizona Department of Corrections back in the 70s and 80s. There wasn't any cameras then. You get away with a lot more out in open. And Arizona, Florence prison in particular, was classified as the most dangerous area in a whole of America, like the square mile, the most dangerous square mile in the whole of America, based on the murders, beheadings, all of the crazy stuff that was going on at Florence prison. And that's where Two Tonys was housed. So, I'm going to read you now from the book. Some people have asked me how to get it. It's available worldwide on Amazon, and I'll put the link in the description box in the video, below this video. So I'm going to read now what happened. This is Two Tonys talking. I met a kid, Pete, 20, a well-natured youngster. As a kind of mentor, I took a liking to him. He was running errands for the Aryan Brotherhood, carrying shanks and beating up guys. I saw in his admiration for the gang the extent I wanted to get involved with mobsters as a youngster. Pete was near the end of his term as a probate. So a probate is a guy putting in work for the gang, trying to earn his stripes to become a full gang member. And work means collecting debts, beating people up, stabbing people. The Aryan Brotherhood Council voted him in as a member, and he was really proud to be part of that shit. Pete jumped on a guy for the gang and was sent to lockdown. A white guy in lockdown had broken the gang rules by siding with a black guy over the whites, and he had tried to stab a white gang member. The Aryan Brotherhood sent Pete a shank with instructions to do a number on the guy. So they wanted this guy stabbed to death for the aforementioned reasons. That's known as a kamikaze move. Pete only had less than a year to serve. It's kamikaze because you can't come back like that without getting caught. Back then, if you drew blood in prison, you got 25 to life added to your sentence, and it was a death penalty state. Pete got out of his cell to work as a porter, but dropped the shank in front of the guard because he didn't want to kill the dude. He just wanted to go home. He made it look like an accident. The guards moved into lockdown within a lockdown. While on his way, he heard an Aryan Brotherhood yell, "Hey motherfucker, you dropped that shank, you piece of shit." This is not good now. The day Pete came back on the yard, I was sick, laying on my bunk. When the 1 PM head count cleared, I was told Vic wanted to talk to me at the fence. So Vic is this big Nordic Aryan Brotherhood member in high standing, who's done loads of years in prison, who works for Two Tonys on the streets. Two Tonys is his boss on the streets. But in prison, the roles are reversed. Vic, because he knows all the fellas, he makes sure that Two Tonys is well protected. I told Vic I wanted to talk to him at the fence. I went down there, and as I approached the 20-foot no man's land separating the two fences, I looked over and there was Pete talking to Skull, the Aryan brother he trusted the most. Now, Two Tonys describes Skull as this psycho, Neanderthal, shanking, murdering, killing, heroin and meth addicted maniac who's got lots of murders under his belt already. "Hey, Two Tonys," Pete yelled. "Can you clean me up over there with the fellas if you can? I didn't do nothing wrong." So Pete's asking Two Tonys to put a word in with the gang to clean his name up. "Yeah, sure," I said. Skull said to Pete, "Take a lap, kid. I want to talk to Two Tonys in private." Confused, I looked at Skull. "I'll be back." Pete took off for a lap. Skull got on his haunches. I squatted down. "What's up?" He motioned with his right fist as if he was stabbing his left palm. "When?" I asked. "Right now." Looking around, I saw all the signs were there. Guys were throwing horseshoes that didn't play horseshoes. Guys were digging up shanks buried on the yard. Guys were doing things they didn't normally do, like grouping up. All routine was broken. "I'm running it," Skull said. I knew then he was going to have Pete killed. I tried to use my pull. How much time has that kid got left? 8 months. "Do you have to do it like this? Can't you just bust his head open and put him in the hospital?" "It's got to be done." "It's got to be done" means the words come down from the bosses of the gang that because Pete is now a full member and he didn't kill the guy with the shank, he dropped the shank, he's got to go. He's got to pay the price, which is the death penalty. So Two Tonys said, "I'm not an animal. I'll kill a motherfucker in a minute," and I have when I thought he was going to harm me or if he was trying to scheme on me. But these Aryan Brotherhood motherfuckers like Skull were cold. Pete came back and stopped. I looked at little Pete for just over maybe 15 seconds and an inner voice told me to yell over at the kid, "Get off the fucking yard now! Get under that fucking gun tower now!" But I didn't and I couldn't because I'd have been killed. "Don't forget to clean me up," Pete said. "I'll get right on that, little bro." I walked about 20 yards and turned around. Skull had his arm around Pete's shoulder, walking another lap. 3 dudes grouped up were about to roll on Pete. They came up behind him, started stabbing him over and over in the kidneys, neck, stomach and femoral artery in the thigh. Pete dropped. To this day, I still think about little Pete, the poor motherfucker. He left in a pine box to be buried at Boot Hill with no gravestone marker. Yeah, it's really sad. Now, in The Mafia Philosopher, Two Tonys also describes a situation like this, similar, but not as... They're gonna kill this guy, but the Aryan Brotherhood who's give the green light, he's not as high up in the AB as in this situation. If Two Tonys goes against this situation, he's gonna get whacked. It happens again, but a lesser AB boss has put the green light out, and Two Tonys actually uses his finesse and his pull with Vic, the other Aryan brother, to save this guy's life. So in another video on shot callers, I'm going to do that Two Tonys story. I'll also need to do... I got in a situation where a shot caller put out a green light on my cellmate, and I found out just before breakfast. Everyone was down about to get their breakfast, and it was going to happen after breakfast. And he basically owed money to... He'd been running a store, and the shot caller and his sidekick, this is Carter and Gravedigger, huge 6'8" cage fighter. These guys owed my cellmate money, so they decided to greenlight him just to get rid of him so they could not have to repay the debt and take his store. Yeah, that's what happened with that one. I'll do a video on that one. Also, tonight I'm going to watch my mate Billy Moore's prison movie. It's called A Prayer Before Dawn. Billy Moore is out of Liverpool. He spent time kickboxing and incarcerated in a prison in Thailand. You've got to watch this film, honestly. If you watch the trailer, the actors are actually ex-cons from Thailand. They're all tatted out. They've got like metal teeth. It's all so realistic. And Billy's in there on his own with these guys, just sleeping on a cell floor with like 30 of them. And he uses his fighting skills, his boxing, to earn their respect. So I'm going to watch that movie tonight. I'll put out a review video on that. In the description box below this video, I'm going to put the dates for my upcoming tour and the cities that I'm doing in England. I can't speak in America. Some people are asking me to speak in America because I'm banned from America for life. I'll put the link to my brand new book, The Mafia Philosopher, that was just published. Available worldwide on Amazon in every country. I'll put the link below if you want to get a copy of this. It's got me meeting two Tonys, the story in there, how he saved me from a shot caller as well. And I'll also put a link into the trailer to A Prayer Before Dawn, so you can see how badass this movie is. Anyway, thank you for subbing. I'm almost at 50,000 subs now. Thanks for the comments, thanks for the likes. And you know, the channel's growing. I'm going to keep rolling out more videos. Take care out there from London. Cheers.